saggy weeds. That's north. Never. Here's east. S stands for south. And waffles, or whatever you want it to be. That's a cool way to remember that. And then, do you know your left from right? Do you guys know which way is left and which way is right? I want to show you one more really cool trick, how to remember this. So if you're standing this way, can everyone see my hands? So if you're standing this way and you put your hands like this, everybody go like this. Separate your thumbs, keep all your other fingers together. Now look at your hands. Look at this part. It makes an L, right? A capital L. That's how you know this is your left hand. See, this does it. This would be a backwards L. If you look up at our L chart over here, this is not an L right here. But this makes an L. So it's a really cool way to remember your directions. So left and right are important to know. Okay. And then you can go ahead and set that off, and I'm going to go ahead and keep reading this book. What do you think is going to happen in this story? Any ideas? Have you ever seen any movies before about a treasure map? Have you ever had to follow one before?
There's movies like a treasure map.
All right, let's see if we can find out what happens. Okay. They raced to the corner. Then Matthew read clue number 1. From Elm Street, walk down First Avenue toward Rocky River. At the next corner, Oak Street, turn left. Rocky's River down that way, Jed said, pointing. Let's go, said Meg. Let's go, squawked Petey. They turned on First Avenue and marched toward Oak Street. Jed led the way. Sherry put on her baseball cap and jumped behind Jed. Danny followed, rubbing a new penny for good luck. Meg shoved her comic book into her pocket and joined them. And Matthew hurried behind with the map.
That's one big map.
It is a big map, right?
It is actually.
What do you see there? Oh yeah, look, he's got the big clues, and then he's looking at the little map to find the treasure. When they got to the corner of Oak Street and First Avenue, they turned left. Here we are, said Jed. And Wonderland Park is over there. What's next? Matthew read clue number 2. Now keep walking about 125 giant steps until you come to a dirt path on the right that leads to the park. Gosh, that's a lot of steps, said Danny. Lots of steps, chimed in Petey. They counted 125 giant steps and looked to their right. There's no dirt path, said Danny, but there's a big sidewalk. And it does lead to the park, said Meg. It looks like it's in the right place, said Jed, pointing to the map. Maybe it was a dirt path 50 years ago, said Sherry. We're getting closer, said Jed. What do we know now? Matthew read clue number 3. Walk up the path through a pine grove and continue to the top of the hill. That's where you'll find a big oak tree.
One big cell phone.
It is. Sherry looked at the map. Well, it looks like it's twice as far as it was from the corner to this sidewalk, she said. That would make it 250 giant steps, all uphill. We can do it, said Jed. We can do it, agreed Petey. While Jed counted off 250 giant steps, they passed through a group of pine trees and reached the top of the hill. I don't see any big trees here, said Danny as he sat down on an old stump. Me neither, said Jed. He picked up a newspaper from the ground and fanned himself with it. Wait a minute, said Sherry. That stump was once a big tree. This could be the place after all. Matthew looked at the map. I think Sherry is right, he said. Okay, said Jed. Now what? Matthew read clue number 4. Cross Rocky River where you see a great big rock. Nearby, look for a flat rock with a big X on it. X marks the spot. Have you ever heard of that on a treasure map?
Yeah.
X marks the spot. Are y'all familiar with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
X marks the spot.
They started walking toward the river, and pretty soon they came to a big moss-covered rock. This must be it, said Matthew, looking at the map for sure. Everyone started looking for a rock with an X on it. Everyone except Petey, that is. He just plopped down for a rest. There's Petey. Come on, Petey, yelled Meg. You can't stop now. She clapped her hands loudly behind his back. Petey jumped up, and there it was. He had been sitting on a flat rock, and Meg noticed a big X carved into the top. Petey found it, Meg hollered. Petey ruffled his feathers proudly. Jed could hardly wait. He grabbed the shovel and started digging. Pretty soon he hit something that sounded like metal. Jed reached in and carefully removed a flat metal box from the hole. It had been taped shut. He pulled off the tape and pried the cover open. Wow, look at this cool stuff, said Meg. It's a time capsule from another kids club a long time ago, said Danny. Do you guys know what time capsule is? No? Never heard of it?
I've heard of the word before, but I forgot what
Let's
it
keep
is.
reading and see if we can find
It's
out what a
Rocky
time
River
capsule is.
Rascals. It's Rocky River Rascals.
The Rocky River Rascals, July 1950. That's something they found inside the box.
You said stuff that was very
It
special
says-
in it and very
It says the future. Every household will have one. Be the first person on your block to own a television. So what do we think about this time capsule? Yeah, go ahead.
I even know what a time capsule means.
What is a time capsule?
You don't know that. I once buried a time capsule.
You did. And so
My
are
grandma's
some of the
died.
things that are in there, they've been in there for a while, right? I think that's what's going on in this picture. They're talking about the TV like it's old.
A
It's not
time
funny.
capsule is like when you put some things inside and you bury it, and as you grow up, you dig it up, and then it helps you remember what you had when you were a kid.
Exactly. Sort of a fun thing to do. When they had finished looking at everything, Sherry asked, "Now what do we do with it all?" "I know. Let's put it back for someone else to find," suggested Jed. "Maybe we can add some stuff of our own and make it our time capsule too," said Matthew. "Great idea," said Meg. Great idea, chattered Petey. "I'll put in my lucky penny," said Danny. "It's got this year's date on it." "Well, I'll add my baseball cap," said Sherry, and in it went. "Whoever finds it might like my comic book," said Meg. "I'll add this newspaper," said Jed. "It has all of today's news in it." Matthew pulled out a picture of the group that he carried in his pocket. He wrote Elm Street Kids Club and the date on the back and tossed it in. Petey grabbed a loose tail feather with his beak and put it right on top.
What does it say? Super dog right there?
Super Dog.
Oh, I think that's the comic book.
You're right. I think that is a comic book. I haven't noticed that before.
Yeah.
All right. Jed closed the box and put it back in the hole. He covered it with dirt and carefully placed a rock with the X back on the top. "X marks the spot," he announced. As they started back to their clubhouse to hide the map, Petey squawked, "X marks the spot, X marks the spot." Do you notice anything about this picture? Go ahead, what do you see? Yeah. What's going on over there? Yeah.
Look, it's
What do you
Rocky
think? Who are these
River
people over here?
Rocky River Rascals reunion.
The Rocky River Rascals reunion. And look at these people. They look a little bit older, right? What do you think about that? Who do you think those people are? Go ahead. They're grown-ups, and you think, I'm thinking, and I'm wondering if you're thinking the same thing. These are probably the people that put the stuff in the time capsule, right?
Yeah, they are.
And they dug this up, and they found it years later. Isn't that awesome? Okay. Well, thanks for letting me read that to you.
But
Now,
why is there like sticky gum coming out?
why is there sticky gum coming out? Oh, on this last page?
Weird.
Oh, you know, I think that's a broom.
Like,
And they're just dusting off the top of the treasure map.
yeah, sticky gum.
So if they didn't have good directions, they could have missed this by a simple step, right? They could have gone 10 steps the wrong way. So that's why it's important to remember our different directions, north, south, east, west, when to go left and right, so that we can find objects or tell people how to get places. Do you ever have a play date? You want to tell your friend how to get to your house, right? So it's important to know how to learn directions. So now,